Hey guys, this is Demorfeast from tbreak.com. Today we'll be looking at the 2012 Land Rover Discovery 4. So this is obviously a new entry in Range Rover's line. They introduced this in 2009. And if you'll have a look at it, I mean, we know that the chassis is the same that's been shared on the Range Rover Sports as well. Outside lights and pretty much a lot of the basic same shape looks the same as the Range Sports. Inside, quite a lot of similarities as well. You'll notice that you've got a nice handrest area over here, window controls over there, memory seats, pretty much the exact basic leather interior. Steering wheel looks obviously the exact same, and if we have a look at the dial cluster over here, the speedometer looks pretty much the same. You've speed limited to 220. Trip computer shows you most of the basic information you'll need. As you can see, average fuel consumption is pretty damn high, but we'll get to that in a bit. If you have a look at the rest of the car, very roomy. Nice back seats over here, and in the last section you've got a lot of room for a lot more people, pretty much a whole party going on. You've got two sunroofs at the back as well, so all times it keeps it very nice and roomy. You've got a netted roof on the top, so there's no proper sunlight blockage. Now if you have a look at the main console in this area, you've got the AC on the top, the screen. Let's have a look at this. This is pretty much the exact same stuff we've seen in Jaguars and Range Rover as well. Obviously you've got the nice Land Rover logo on the top. You've got the audio, navigation and phone settings over here, pretty much basic stuff. So if you go to audio, you can select the FM radio, Bluetooth or whatever it is, even the discs, the CD. If you go back, navigation system, you can set destinations and everything, and currently the map is showing it in 3D. You can make a lot of selections over here. If you go back again, phone, well, I've turned the phone the Bluetooth off, but it shows pretty much the entire directory and the dial as well. You've got the audio settings over here, very basic, not much Pro Logic or advanced stuff going on, despite the Harman Kardon speaker system, which sounds pretty impressive. Extra features, we've just got the terrain control over here. Now this is very impressive because over here you can control pretty much the entire layout of the car, differential locking system, and at what gear settings how the car should behave. Pretty impressive stuff. Of course, all of this can be manually operated as well. If you come down, now look at over here, these are the main menu settings. You've got the home menu, nav, forward, clock in the middle, and that's pretty much it. If you go down, you'll see the CD and the climate control system over here, and right at the bottom you'll see the terrain response system, which is pretty much a Land Rover trademark design. So you've got normal, icy roads, muddy, desert, and obviously rock crawl over here. Select high gear modes as well for climbing up and down mountains, or well, pretty much going down Jabal Afeet, I guess in UAE. That's pretty much all there is. You can increase the ride height as well for the air suspension, depending on what you're comfortable with. Obviously increase it during rock crawls and whatnot. The gearbox is the same. You'll notice that there's no sports mode in here. Instead we get the manual up and down shifts. This makes the car a bit unresponsive, but we'll get to that when we take it out for a ride. Right, so the first thing that I noticed about the Discovery 4 is how immensely huge it is, not only inside but feels outside as well, more so than the Range Rover Sports. I guess the height really makes a difference. The other thing that I noticed was how soft it feels. I mean, obviously it has the same air suspension as the Discovery 3. However, it feels very cushioned. Well, obviously it will, but that doesn't mean that you can't really feel the road surfaces. It has a nice direct feedback on the steering wheel, so you can feel the type of terrain you're driving. The other thing was lack of road noise, and disappointingly, the engine, this is where you can really feel the weight of the car, because the engine doesn't exactly pick up in the way you'd want it to. I'm not comparing it necessarily to the Sports, which had a supercharger on it, but the 5-liter V8 in here is pretty much the same Gen 3 engine that Jaguar shares on most of their top line cars, which was on the XK as well, and the base Range Rover Sports. Now the V8 HSE model that we're driving over here today has the basic 5-liter V, making 385 horsepower and 520 Newton meters of torque, which is pretty good for a car this size, but I would say a supercharger would definitely help things out a bit. The rest of the car feels, like I said, very silenced, very composed. Inside there's literally no road noise at all. Even when you're driving at 120, 140, the car hardly feels like it's moving at all. Obviously the ride height helps this illusion. But apart from that, I would say that it's a very, very comfortable ride, long drives and everything. This car is, I can't think of a better car, honestly, especially because of terrain selection and everything. You can argue the Range Rover Sports or some of the other Jeeps that are coming in, but nothing that provides this sort of I wouldn't say safe feeling, but this sort of feeling that you're driving a tank, I would say. Because maneuvering it around on the highways, I guess off-road it feels a lot more safer, a lot more at home in rough terrains and rough places. But on the roads it feels a bit too out of place, too huge, too bulky and slow for the fast-moving roads of Dubai. But that's not to say it's not a good car. Obviously, that feeling changes and depends on where you're taking the car at the end of the day. But as a family car, something that'll literally take you pretty much anywhere you want to go for the long haul or the short one, Discovery 4, very damn impressive. 264,000, that's the starting price for the V8 HSC model that we're testing. I would say that it's a fairly decent price. You can get more for less money, but the same experience obviously cannot be matched. So that's pretty much it for the Discovery 4 from T-Break, and catch you all next week. Thank you.